It's Cyclone Sunday with Ben Bruns. Breaking everything down from the Channel Seed Studios. This is Iowa Everywhere.
What is up? Cyclone Sunday from the Channel Seed Studios here on Iowa Everywhere. I'm Aiden Wyatt, joined as always by Ben Bruns. Brunsy, how we doing today?
Good, Aiden. Good. What a time to be a Cyclone.
Yes.
It is. This is rarefied air, man. 6-0. You go into that game thinking this is a good football team we're going to go play. They run the ball great. It'll be a good environment. It's a weird day for Rocco because of his dad going in the Hall of Fame. It's like all this stuff that you got to try and manage. And then you go out and West Virginia executes perfectly on their first drive of the game, right? Like just flawlessly. And there's great defense being played and you still give up a score, right? It's like, man, miss a field goal to after a good drive for Iowa State. And now you're like, phew. And yet somehow you have the lead at halftime. Yep. Again. It's a cheat code. Matt Campbell's got a cheat code.
Yep. Iowa State 28-16 winners over West Virginia. That's 7 straight road wins for those keeping track. Well, regular season road wins. We're not counting the Liberty Bowl, which reminds me, Iowa State's already eligible for the Liberty Bowl, so get your trips ready for
Let's
Memphis,
not
folks.
go back there, okay? Can we avoid that? That would be great.
And also, that's
not
6.
The hospitality wasn't great, but
yes, I get what you're saying.
Not play Memphis at the Liberty Bowl.
6 straight road Big 12 wins in that span too. And I think you mentioned it a week or two ago. Iowa State didn't win a road conference game from I think 1992 to 1999.
Correct.
So to win 6 in a row it's unbelievable.
It just shows you how far this whole thing has come, and really, it does point to a program that historically hasn't had success, right? And I think that's what makes it that much more special is that now we can go do those things and expect to, right? You're favored in the game, ranked 11th in the country. And, I think a lot of us, the conversation that I had yesterday with my father-in-law was like, the real issue is now you expect something, right? For us as fans, every time you turn around, like, oh gosh, there's so much pressure. Oh, this is such a big game, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, when you're winning, they matter more, right? If you're bad, it's like, or you're just okay, right? It's like, well, I hope we win. But now imagine being in that locker room. Now imagine being one of those players. Imagine being Matt Campbell talking to your team. And, I saw him as we were right after the throw to Higgins at the end of the game, which, was kind of a that was
clearly just trying to get him touchdown with 8 in a row, 7 in a row,
which is awesome, right? Yeah. So right after that was the first moment where I think he sort of like had to grapple with, oh my God, we're 6-0. And because throughout the game up to that point, he'd been focused on what was happening. Mm-hmm. And he turned around and went back to the sideline. And for every guy that he could get his eyes on, he ran up to him and was doing this. One more. And he talked about at the beginning of the season breaking this thing up into 4 seasons, right? I'm confident that what he's talking about is that season 2 is coming to a close next week. I think they chunked it up so that this is that run, and you got a chance to be perfect at the end of that run, right? Which is 7-0, and then you're headed into a bye week, and from there, what else happens, right? But just control what you can control right now, right? And so to deal with the burden of success is one of the huge challenges in life. You know, Tiger Woods couldn't do it. Michael Jordan couldn't do it. You know, they found their way back to it, but it's like that is so much harder than the burden of failure. And to break it up in that way, and you're talking to a bunch of guys who are 18 to 22-year-old dudes, right? This is a formative time in people's lives. These guys, you know, some of them had been either, you know, most of them had been in high school during COVID, right? What a weird experience. They've never had a normal, political discourse in anything that they've ever experienced. You know, I think about you, Aiden. It's like, I've seen a whole lot of normal stuff in my life, and you haven't seen any of it, right? It's just like, it's just been chaos since 9/11, really, you know? And so, you know, you to take a group who could easily be distracted by lots of different things and have freshman linebackers that look like the Backstreet Boys playing, you know, balling out like at West Virginia against elite athletes. It's like they've got a cheat code of names, man. And it's a different degree of energy and focus. And, you know, one of the things we don't talk about enough is how strength and conditioning comes into this. And, you know, that was a part of the program that Matt hadn't been happy with for a number of years. Even when we were having success, he just felt like there was something not quite right there. And, you know, the strength staff spends more time with players than anybody else. It's not close. You know, you think about the head coach as the guy that runs the whole thing, but the reality is the strength staff run the whole thing. And or at least set the culture and the work habits, right?
Right.
And if that's not right, you'll never get there, man. The fact that these young guys can come in and play, you know, and know where to be, and know what to do, and play with abandon, play accountably. You know, they're not physically developed to the place where they need to be in order to be on that stage, but they're just getting it done. It's like, wow.
Yeah, with the guys like Ryland Barnes and Bo Goodwin, as you call the Backstreet Boys of the Iowa State defense, at what point is it, I mean, these linebackers are dropping like flies, and Cooper Ebel goes down, and you go, sure, yep, that sounds about right. At what point is it just a culture thing that all these players can just kind of be plug and play?
It clearly is. And, you know, I was fortunate to be part of, I felt like a couple teams that were that unified, that were that aligned on what we were trying to do. A couple of them didn't have the success that they wanted, but they had great leadership, and they, you know, had the intangibles and had done the work. And one of them in 2000, you know, did experience all that success through the challenges of, you know, managing a long season and all those kinds of things. But to do it, you know, in such a consistent fashion, and to do it with such a high skill level relative to your experience level, I think is something I've never seen. And I think it should be the top. I think it, you know, there's a lot of stories in college sports. I don't know how Iowa State's linebacking core and the success of this football team is not one of the top stories in all the sports world, because it's like voodoo magic, man. It just, it is so impressive. And it goes beyond just those guys, but my hat is off to every person involved in every aspect of this program because they are executing at a level and they're not afraid of success. They anticipate and embrace it. And, to me, that's the pinnacle. That's where you can get, and, think about the 10 in front of Iowa State and even some of the ones behind us, right? And you look at that list and you're like, whoa, I don't know. I mean, can we go compete with blah, 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 right? I think we can. We're going to find out.
Right. And speaking of voodoo magic, John Haycock essentially pitching a shutout after the first drive. I got a tweet pulled up here from Iowa State's Chris Andringa. Second half scoring defense this season. North Dakota, 0. Iowa, 6. Arkansas State, 7. That was a garbage time touchdown. Houston, 0. Baylor, 7. West Virginia, 6. Another garbage time touchdown. So, I mean, it's the Haycock special. I got people texting me in the first quarter after that first drive. It's over. Winning streak's gone. Pack it up. Go home. Thanks for coming out, Cyclones. Once Haycock settles in, you're not scoring. He puts that thing into a sleeper hold, and, I mean, good luck to everyone else out there.
There is good defense in this league, and Iowa State plays it. And it doesn't seem to matter who's on the field for Iowa State. West Virginia's got Tim Brando, who was crazy throughout this game.
Yeah, he was on one last night.
Whew. He starts the broadcast by talking about how good the left side of West Virginia is, and da-da-da-da-da. I'm just like, that left side, they just can't run it consistently, and they're pulling guys, and it's counter, and it's all this stuff. It's quarterback run. Green is going to be a freak show NFL player, in my opinion. I think he's going to be a slot receiver in the NFL.
I think he's going to be a really great athlete. Not a great quarterback, but a great athlete.
10.1 miles per hour. 21.5 miles per hour. They clocked him in practice moving around on a Friday. It's like, yeah, dude can fly. And you could tell, especially in that first drive, it was a next level thing. Like you can't get. He got the edge. Our guys just didn't have the juice. They're used to being able to set an edge and play upfield at a certain angle, and they couldn't take that angle at all because he's just got that much more speed than they're used to seeing from running backs, wide receivers. I mean, he can really play athletically. You settle into all that and figure out, okay, here's the angles we have to take, and here's how we have to spy. And we can't spy with linebackers. We got to spy with safeties and second level players. It's like, wow, okay. Now all of a sudden, and we brought some pressure. We contained some. Green didn't know where to go with the ball at times. They tried to pick on Jontez, early in the game, and were successful on a couple plays, but he ends up getting a pick, right? And it's like, no one has been able to attack Iowa State's defense for 4 quarters plus and be consistently successful. And I just think it's because our guys do so many things and they play so differently that you can't. He can mix it up, and he mixes it up so fast that you can come out with a good game plan against Iowa State. We've seen it in bowl games. We've seen it in weeks where somebody had an off week prior to preparing for us. We saw it in the Big 12 championship game, where you really spend time studying how this system goes together. I think West Virginia had a great attack to it. The underneath throws, just in the creases of the coverage behind the linebackers. You're not going to have these freshman linebackers covering wide receivers through those zones successfully the whole game. You're just not. But the safeties, eventually are going to be sitting on something that you didn't think they were. And by the way, they come up and stop the run. Holy cow. I mean, to me, the whole show was West Virginia, who's had such success running the football, couldn't run it consistently against Iowa State with the tailback.
And I thought Jaheim White was really good. I mean, he was fun to watch. I can pull up his stats quick. He wasn't great, obviously, in this game, but I mean, he's looked great all season. Let's see here. 12 carries for 46 yards last night. And most of it came on that first drive.
Mm-hmm.
He's a shifty little dude.
He is. And if you take Iowa State's defense, you take Houston's got a good defense. I mean, there's a lot of skill that this Iowa State offense has played against already. There's a lot of skill that this Iowa State defense has seen already. I mean, Caleb Johnson's as good as anybody you're gonna come by, right? Running attacks as good as anybody's going to come by, but they still couldn't score in the red zone against Iowa State. So it's like, I like Iowa State in the matchup next week, which is the only one that matters, right? And then we'll see what happens from there. But this team has the it thing, and I think Matt Campbell has a formula right now about how to keep that, and that is, it's season 2. Let's get through season 2. Yep. Let's be undefeated at the end of season 2. Let's do what we can do this week to rehab and get ready. And but man, I would sure like to have some more depth at linebacker than we do right now, because it's like, watch another one get hurt and you're like, oh my God. Now what?
Here comes another one.
Oh yeah, West Hancock, of course.
Yep, there you go. Couple small town Iowa kids, just like
there
you,
go.
Man.
Come get it.
Cyclone Sunday here on Iowa Everywhere. Ben Bruns, Aiden Wyatt here in the Channel Seed Studios. Iowa State wins 28-16 to get to 6-0. Let's flip it to the offense. I mentioned this before the show. They just keep getting better. I mean, each week I feel like we've been saying, "Oh, this was the best offensive game yet." Well, this was the best offensive game. Rocco looked really good today. They seem to be ascending, which is a great place to be in the middle of October.
Well, and we talked about young guys playing, but Trevor Berg comes in this game and has to play the majority of it because of the injury to Barrett, and you got Brendan Black out there. So both guys are second year guys that are we don't, again, Brendan Black plays the entire season last year as a starter at right guard as a true freshman. You got a redshirt freshman out there playing at the left guard spot. Reminds me of my buddy Ben Bodette back in the day. Just a man child, strong, accountable, physical, wearing number 70 like my buddy. Just doing the job, right? And against really good defensive personnel. I mean, 11 for West Virginia can play for anybody. That was a good defensive front, and they knew Iowa State was going to run the football. And Carson Hansen was the most effective in that for Iowa State. But I think Taylor Mauser continues to impress in the ability to from similar personnel groups play different styles of football, right? So you have tight ends in the game. And you can line them up inside and get in a heavy set, or you can split everybody out, and we still have advantages when we split guys out because they can run routes, they can catch stuff. That group's a little bit banged up, but a couple crucial. Gabe caught a super crucial first down, on that drag route, and Rocco wasn't looking for him to start with, but he sees him come across the field, he's open, bang, puts it on him, and first down. Carson Hansen getting downhill and being able to cut back, to me, he looks like he's just, rolling with his head forward and just like he's going to just be a pinball guy, right? Like bang, 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 bang. But he got a little swivel. And so, all of a sudden this whole thing, everything's washing this way, and he starts pressing it. And then next thing you know, he just keeps sort of like chunk, 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 chunk. It's like Plinko, like he's over here now. And you got 6 yards, or you got 9, or you got 11. It's he's been super impressive. That group up front's been super impressive. And when you do that stuff, you mentioned before we started, we want to talk about the how many plays was it? The capper at the end of the game?
10 plays. 33 yards, 6 minutes and 43 seconds taken off the clock to go up 28-10.
33 yards. and you're going to spend, half a quarter on it.
Yes.
It was majestic. You're like, here.
That's like an offensive lineman's wet dream.
There's nothing to see here. There's nothing to see here. It's like, done. You're done. So put the sleeper hold on. In that drive, I just kept saying to my family, I'm like, hey, look, we just, first down's great, but like, there's no reason to throw it if you don't have to, right? Like, just chew this clock completely apart, get down to a 3rd and 2, get into a, 4th and short, and then kick the field goal and life is good. So, we get down there, we look like we're going to try and get them to jump off sides. I'm sure we're going to come back with a field goal, and they cut, and I see Hufford's big old paw getting on the ball, and I'm like, what? Okay. And we run speed option to the short side of the field, to the short side of the formation, which was a play that we loved when I was in school, in part because Sage wasn't that fast. It didn't work as well with Seneca because Seneca was too fast. Like, he'd get to the end of the line of scrimmage before the running back was in position, and not that it didn't work with Seneca, because everything worked with Seneca, but
right.
It helps to have a quarterback who has good wheels but not great wheels to run that play, because you're attacking downhill at one guy, and if that they're going to just leave one backside edge defender, and he's got the boundary. That's his job. And in this case, it was the defensive end, because everybody else was rolled over to the tight end side, to the strength of the formation. Then and what you really want to do is get that ball to the running back as quickly as possible. Then you run speed option downhill at it and pitch it, and it's the easiest 5 yards you ever had, right? Brilliant call. And it's not easy to do that when you haven't shown it much this year. When you haven't, clearly it's not something Iowa State spends all their practice time on, right? But they've repped for these situations. They've repped to have these fundamentals inside the game plan that allow them to do things like that. And now anything that you want to run, so you get back in that formation in the future, right, in a similar situation, and instead of speed option back that way, you can run bootleg at it and fry them a different way. I mean, I just love the fact that this offense continues to evolve, that we continue to find different ways to win situations, and you end up salting a game away that could have, if you kick a field goal right there, you've taken 3 minutes, 3.5. 4 minutes off the clock at that point, maybe. Instead, you put a touchdown on the board and milk twice as much time. And it's like, this game's over.
Yep. And I think
Thanks for playing, West Virginia.
it's really a credit to Taylor Mauser being able to,
Yeah.
and the offense as a whole, being able to kind of do whatever they want. They have these big play drives, like a Jalen Noel 60-yard touchdown, and then they can have a 10-play, 33-yard touchdown drive to seal the game. His creativity on the offensive side is unlike anything I think Iowa State has ever seen.
And I love that it's based out of a set of consistent things that we do, right? It's one thing to be creative and just like pull things out of the air, like, hey, this could work. Let's do this week. But it's not about that. It's not about some sort of scheme. It's about, I think he's done a really good job of manipulating defenses into situations where, you know what, here's how they're going to react because here's what we're doing to them. And then we're going to turn the dial just a little bit over here. And now they can't, an example, and there's times where that doesn't work too. Right. So Iowa State had the football early fourth quarter, had just been bludgeoning their way down the field, running the football with Hansen. And we put Carson back in, but we were in a spread look. And this was that drive that I think Gabe converted the third down on. And so, we tried to run a couple times out of spread with Hansen and went nowhere. Right. But we were going to give a different look with the same running back to see if we could get them displaced with the passing attack. But West Virginia wasn't buying it. They had safeties, ready to be in the run game. They won at the point of attack, once beating a block. And we pick up the first down, and then all of a sudden, we shift gears a little bit and attack a little bit differently. And, we're not just banging our head against the wall, trying to do something that the defense had adjusted to. It gets results. It's got to be fun for these guys, right? You can tell that this football team is having fun offensively, and Rocco played fabulously yesterday.
It was towards the end of the game when Eli Green had a couple catches right in a row. The one that he dropped over, I don't know if it was a corner or safety or who it was, that was one of the best throws I've ever seen Rocco make, I think.
And you're thinking, okay, just make the play, right? Like, yep. I think it's super easy for any of these guys who are coming in who aren't, your old reliable. We know we're going to get this from this guy. When they're clutch, right? When your guys who come in to play a role are clutch, it just makes the game fun, but it makes you almost impossible to defend, and the same is true on the defensive side. It's like, okay, I look at this guy, like he looks like he was working at Burger King, right? But like, he's going to go tackle me? Yeah, again? Oh my God, that hit hurt. Like, where'd this guy come from? It's like, I marvel at what this coaching staff has done to prepare for this season, what these kids have done to prepare for this season, and how they're executing. And for Rocco to lay that ball in, and to make that catch and then have a little shake, hold on to it. You're getting gang tackled. All of a sudden, guys are trying to pull the ball out. They can't get it out. You get down on the ground. We got a big first down, and off we go. Right? It's like, this is good.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to sum it up. This is good. All right, I think that's all I got for you, my man.
All right, brother. Enjoy your Sunday, and let's keep it rolling. We got a great opportunity this next week, and Ryan Harklaw said something on his Twitter last night that I thought was really, really good. He was talking about the environment that we had a week ago at home and what this opportunity is with UCF coming to town. Let's pack the jack and have this place be raucous because we got a 6-0 football team and the sky's the limit.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better. Brunsy, thank you for your time as always. This has been Cyclone Sunday. Aiden, Wyatt, Ben Bruns from the Channel Seed Studios here on the Iowa Everywhere Network. We will see you next week.